guys, it's Mary.
And Amma.
We invite you guys to like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment.
Down below, y'all. Today we are going to be talking about Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, you guys. Yeah, and we're just going to get right into it. This episode was really about...
This is part 1, episode 2. No, but we're still on part 1.
This is the first documentary of Surviving R. Kelly, and this is the second episode.
The second episode, yeah.
And today we're actually going to be talking about Lizette. She was a Hispanic girl that he had groomed and basically had done some things to her. And then we're also going to talk about Lisa Van Allen, the girl who was in the tape with that little girl who was on the P tape. And then we are also going to talk about Sparkle and how she introduced them. And then we're also going to talk about Drea. So that's what this episode is about.
Yes.
You know, I'm just going to start off with this. The brother, it kind of started, this episode started with the brother saying, you know, I don't understand why people have an issue with my brother.
That's the one who's in jail.
You know, yeah, probably rightfully so. I don't know what he went to jail for, but there's a reason why you're in prison and your younger brother is not.
Yeah.
But he said, you know, I don't understand, you know, him being with younger women is just a preference.
Yes.
I like older women, but it's just a preference. You are a bandit.
Yeah.
Actually a bandit.
He's not with younger women, he's with girls.
He is actually with children.
Yes.
He's a pedophile.
Yes.
So
that's what he is. So it's not no preference.
And you know,
it is a crime.
Yeah. Personally, I believe that maybe the brother was around when he was doing this stuff. Because my thing is that he's so cavalier about it.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
He's trying to make it okay because he was there.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make it okay. I mean, what's the problem?
I mean, it's just like that manager talking about how... It's just like that manager talking about how, oh, you know, like they were so silly together. As if it was some love... It was a predatory behavior. And this girl did not know better.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So, anyway... So, basically, R. Kelly, he was going to the schools, he was going to McDonald's, and he was going to the mall. That's where he met this woman named Lizette. I think he met her when she was 17.
And at his concerts, too.
Yeah, at his concerts, too. But that was later.
Girls up.
On the stage.
Take them to the back.
Yeah.
Or one of his handlers, like this security
the bodyguard
guy, will come and give them, hey, he wants to see you. Give them his phone number. Yeah. Call him. Mr. Kelly wants to see you.
And all this stuff. But yeah, so he he was basically raping this girl and grooming her for a few years or whatever.
Before he even had sex with her the first time, he drugged her.
Yeah, he raped her.
He drugged her.
They were at it. Oh yeah, because
she said she drank something.
She actually met him at a concert, and then they went to an after party. And go ahead.
And one of them put drugs in her drink, and then she said she was feeling very tired.
Very woozy.
Went to bed, and there he comes. And he raped her. That's pretty much what he was.
Yeah. But somehow she ended up staying there or whatever because he had told her, you know, I'll help you with your music career.
He probably could see in her face that she, you know, while she wants help for her music, she wasn't feeling him like that.
Yeah.
And so decided to go ahead and rape her.
Yeah.
So disgusting.
Yeah, it's really just a mess, honestly. But yeah, she had an audition for him, and he would lie to these girls saying that, you know, I'll help you with your music career and all this bota bata.
And by the time the end of it happens, she's not even helping them with their careers. Yeah. That was just a way to bring them in. Yeah. Once he gets them in, all that career singing and stuff,
it goes out the window. But I think she actually ended up pregnant, had a miscarriage, and he created a song called "You Are Not Alone." Yes. Which I'm sure he used that.
Michael Jackson sang.
I know, it was such a good song, and now you find out that it was written by R. Kelly.
That God is telling him, "You're not alone. I am here with you."
For me personally, it's really hard. I know some people are like, well, you can separate the artist from the music. For me personally, I feel like it's really hard to do that because I'm thinking, because I've watched the documentary about 3 times, like each movie, like the part 1, part 2, and part 3. I don't know why I was so like enthralled with this in college for some reason. My girlfriend told me about this. I was like, what are you talking about? Because my thing is, I never really knew anything about R. Kelly. I would listen to some of his songs. I think there's only 3 songs that I knew about. Step in the Name of Love, I Believe I Can Fly.
Because I used to listen to that a lot. The storm is over now.
Yeah,
but he probably was talking about the case.
Yeah.
When he said the storm is over now.
Yeah.
And I can see the sunshine. That's even on my father's voicemail. That's a song on my father's voicemail. the storm is over now.
And then also Ignition. So really, it was about maybe 4 or 5 songs that I listened to of R. Kelly. Our Ignition was my favorite song. But it's just for me, when I, like, even if I try to go listen to it, I'm just imagining. Because the thing is, when he was making this music, he actually would be having sex with girls. In the middle of his studio, where the mic is, he would have a bed. So sometimes he'll be having sex and recording these songs. So it's hard for me to get into the music. Even though I like the songs.
Like raping them, the songs probably are playing because the room is like right there.
But remember that girl who was crying or whatever and stuff? She said that her first time even knowing that he was having sex with these little girls, she was there in the room or whatever, and he just bent a girl over while he was singing a song. So my thing is, it's just hard for me because, especially after you watch the documentary, it's really hard, personally, for me to go and be like, I'm going to be bumping to Ignition. Because I'm now thinking, oh my God, this man's probably having sex with some little girl at this. And then we talking about toot toot. He's talking about his predatory behavior. I'm driving down in my Cadillac and I'm seeing the school bus. Let me go see who I can have tonight. Like, it's just hard. So I don't know how people separate it, especially after you watch the documentary.
I actually cannot. I cannot separate it. I just really cannot.
But yeah, so she found out she was pregnant. They had that song, whatever, and stuff like that. But Sparkle. Oh no, let's talk about Drea first because Drea actually
she was a dancer.
She was a dancer. Her brother told her that you should sign up for R. Kelly or whatever.
Because her brother played for
was
him.
A childhood friend, and he was also.
Was he security or he played for him? I think it was security.
Yeah, he was security. Also, my thing is that brother, Drea's brother. My thing is I just feel like a lot of the black men failed these black women.
Absolutely.
And because even because the bodyguard who is Drea.
And some of the black women too. What happened?
She just jumped over the bush. I don't know what she's doing.
The cat? What bush is she jumping over?
Don't you see her? Okay. Anyway, I can't get caught up.
I think she's laying down.
No, she jumped over the bush and I just saw her legs fly in the air.
I know, but she's
and then
laying
she sat down.
Maybe she hurt herself.
Yeah.
Zen!
Mom, okay, let's get back to the thing. Anyway, but so my thing is I felt like black on black crime. You have R. Kelly here terrorizing the neighborhood. It's a black on black crime for sure. And you would think that you'll be trying to uplift the community, but you do this.
No.
And then Drea's brother said that he knew that he was talking to little girls or whatever. He was like, I would be telling R. Kelly that, you have to stop this man. Why don't you go and tell your sister? Yeah. This man is here messing with little girls.
Yes.
And all this stuff. He's like, I saw a lot of little girls around the stuff. Right, but I never checked ID. And, some of them actually looked older. And then, of course, some of them were from the street. So, they were fast.
One who had the nerve to part his lips and say there were a lot of enablers in this stuff. You are one of the enablers.
Like, you were his bodyguard and childhood friend. My thing is, I think this whole thing really was popping off, like, on an extreme level in the beginning.
I'm sure.
I think so. I think it was worse in the beginning than it did.
Hundreds or thousands
of women.
Girls.
Yeah.
That this man raped, sodomized, like you just effed up their lives.
Yeah.
For decades to come.
Yeah. And my thing is, you obviously see, my thing is, I feel like he was probably the bodyguard. He was also R. Kelly's childhood friend. She was a dancer. You tell her, hey, Drea, come and dance for R. Kelly. You know he has little girls around. My thing is, it doesn't take a rocket science to know.
Yeah.
That somebody's doing something wrong. He didn't care. He really didn't. So I just feel like, one, he failed his sister. And then for him to sit down here and act like he's not an enabler. Also, that sick manager sitting down there as if he's not an enabler also. You helped forge a marriage. You knew he was having sex with a 12-year-old. And then also, the first victim, Tiffany, which we'll talk about in part 2 of the documentary. She was the first one, and he was there like, So, before Aaliyah, there was Tiffany. You knew she was pregnant.
I know.
And then you knew he was with Aaliyah. So, my thing is, I think he was there. He needs to be locked up.
I know.
You've admitted to crimes.
I am sure. I
hope they lock him up.
The reason why they don't say girls is because they were also...
I would not be shocked if R. Kelly was giving them...
girls also. Without consent. Because they're too young to give consent.
Yeah.
They don't even understand the ramifications until much later.
Yeah. But basically, what I thought was very interesting is that R. Kelly, he was actually telling victims about how he was molested and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a lot of the women talked about how they fell for him being, like, a victim and they were able to relate. I personally, just like how you said that you can, I feel like when you've been abused, like whether it's domestic violence or sexual abuse, you can always recognize a victim.
You really can.
You really can. And he was a victim, so he obviously knew
who recognized
a victim as well. And he could also tell who was probably not as strong or whatever and who he could really prey on.
Yeah. So, because you see it in the girls that he was with, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then there were some girls who he did not do that to.
Yeah.
You know, like Faith, for example.
Yeah,
right?
Faith.
And because he can tell who is going to fight me on this, who's going to go report me probably. Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
So absolutely. It's really unfortunate. But Sparkle was one of the, when he was with Drea, his wife, even when they got married, he refused for her to even bring her family because he tries to do that isolation. Yeah. On all his victims, tries to isolate them from any people who love them, right, and who will support them. And even when he married Drea, he did not allow her family to be there. Yeah. You know?
I mean, he proposed to her. They had a secret wedding.
Yeah, but they had this secret wedding. And then it got to a point where, and she said the abuse didn't start right away. Yeah. Like, of course, he gave her the sob story about, you know, his past and what happened to him and him being molested. Yeah. And she said she wanted to be like his savior.
She wanted to be there for him. She wanted to prove to him that she will never do anything wrong.
Right. And then the thing is, that's what happens, I think, to a lot of women, especially black women. We want to be this savior.
We want to be able to fix everybody and heal everything.
The thing that we need to understand, we cannot stand in God's place in anyone's life. No. You can't stand in God's place even in your children's life. You can't stand in God's place in your spouse's life. You can't. Yeah. Because you're not God. Yeah. You can't fix everything. Yeah. Okay, he's the all-knowing. He's the one that knows exactly what's going on with this person. Yeah. He's the one who can fix it. He can make it right. But a lot of times we feel like, and I've been in that situation, wanting to make everything right in someone's life. Yeah. You know, that God complex too. Yeah. Thinking we can pray stuff away. We can, I don't know, touch and they'll be healed. No. Yeah. And that was a problem. Yeah. And then as time went on, she says, well, of course, he's already told you we're not going to have a wedding with your family. So you've said yes to that. So the next thing is, okay, now you're going to stay in this room. Then the next thing is, okay, when you leave this room, since you've already told me, you're never going to disappoint me, right? Well, you know, I'm busy with my people here when I'm working with them, my band, whatever. Don't leave the room until I tell you to. Yeah. So there's this occasion where she has to peek her head. They were watching a movie or something with Sparkle, the woman who sang with him.
And she had to knock or bang on the door just to come get some food.
Drea has to knock on the door. And first he ignores her.
And the Sparkle's like, hello, someone's knocking.
Yeah, and you can come out. And Sparkle's like, oh my goodness.
Could never be me.
Never be me. However, though, you decide, and I know that Sparkle had to have known about the girls. If he was bending over people, bending over girls, and just raping them, I'm sure she was privy to that knowledge.
But you know,
and
also
you decide to go get your niece, and ask her to come. Your niece, who's 12 years old, you know, who is like has her world in front of her. Because either you were jealous of your sister, which I think she was.
Because she said that she was a rapper and that she could rap very well, like she was on Bow Wow status or whatever. She was super talented, and that she wanted R. Kelly to do the same thing for her niece. My thing is,
what same thing? Because you have seen how he mistreated Lizette. Yeah. You've seen how he has raped Tiffany. You've seen how he molests young girls. You've seen all of that. You know all of that because later on she talks about how she had heard a lot of that, and you decide to go get your niece, and you see that's when you talk about the sister not, you like, you have to be careful you have to be so careful with your children.
Yeah,
and especially when someone who, whether it's a family member or not, who all of a sudden wants to do your child a favor, you got to think to yourself, I don't even get along with this sister. I don't get along with her because she said she was the black sheep of the family. She was estranged from her family. That's what she said. So you were estranged from your family. All of a sudden you're going to do this favor for my child? That's okay. And that's why I feel like she did that on purpose. I really think so. I don't think she loved her niece.
Yeah.
I don't think she loved her niece. How can you really love this girl if you are knowingly taking her to a pedophile?
The girl in the orange jacket was more upset about that girl being victimized than Sparkle was. Sparkle like this. I should have never brought her to you.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we get there, because I have something to say about that. But it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And you see all these people, like all of them had a hand in it. But if I will say the two people that I felt like she'll just rot in jail, rot in hell, was Sparkle and that
manager,
that bodyguard.
The bodyguard and the manager. The manager for sure. The one who did the Leah thing. Demetrius. That's his name, Demetrius.
Demetrius is the
one who forged the fake marriage certificate.
That was the bodyguard.
No, he was the
he was part of security.
He was the tour manager.
Oh, okay.
So he was like a manager.
The one who was saying they were silly.
Yes, that idiot. And then the bodyguard, who was Drea's brother, he was a bodyguard.
They were all enablers in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they were also doing the same thing.
But also, I feel like R. Kelly probably went out of his way to do that to her niece because she would always stand up against R. Kelly. Like, he was trying to control her and saying that, oh, you cannot, was trying to tell, basically was trying to control her, who spoke to her and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because you know how, what he'll do is he'll tell everybody, you cannot speak to my girls who I am messing with or whatever. But he wasn't messing with Sparkle, but he would be, I think he was trying to get her to be one of his girls, for sure.
And she was not
having it.
Because she will continue to talk to people, but they will not talk to her anymore.
Yeah.
Because he had to warn them not to talk to her.
Yeah.
But she did not take his warning. And because she was also a good singer, he wanted to keep her.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. But my thing is, Sparkle...
I think he went out of his way to do that to the niece. But I think he started at 12, and he actually had the niece around. He continued to have the niece around, which this is a girl who was on the P tape. We don't know who she is because she's not on the thing or whatever, but it's Sparkle's niece. He still had her around throughout the trial when he was on trial for this whole thing with the girl who was in the tape or whatever, which I just thought was very... I just didn't care.
No.
You know, God sent you pebbles to stop your behavior and to get yourself together.
Yeah.
And you just kept on. So brazen to have her hanging around like all your people. That's why I do believe...
They all know. They know that you're going to trial for this. They know that you're raping this girl.
Because she's around. She's around.
And they did not care.
Yeah, so my thing is, I think Sparkle actually was very privy to what he was doing to women. Well, not women, to little girls or whatever. Because my thing is, if he's not hiding it from the people who he works with, what will make me think that he is actually trying to hide it from Sparkle?
Yeah.
So I actually believe that she was privy to a lot of it.
She was, and she did not care. In fact, she seemed to...
The fact that he had Drea locked up.
She seemed to blame the niece. Because she said at one point, because she said anytime that she will be there, the niece will come with her, right? But it got to a point, she said, where she came one day and the niece was there. And she's like, what are you doing here? My thing is, why are you asking her? My thing is asking him.
Yeah.
What the hell is my niece doing here with you?
Yeah.
That's who you should have addressed. What the hell is my niece doing here with you when I let you know that she's not to be here if I'm not here?
Yeah.
Because you should have let him know from the beginning, knowing that's why I said she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because if you were doing it in good faith, and you knew of his, of his crimes that he was committing against girls, Yeah. If you knew about that, but you still just wanted to help your niece in terms of, but he can help her, then you would have had that conversation with him. Yeah. She will never be one of your girls. And she's never to be here without me. You would have just let him know, she's never to be here without me. Period.
This man has a problem, so I would never brought my niece to the first place.
I wouldn't have.
Yes, he has an issue.
But that's why I'm saying it was not from a good place with her.
Yeah, but I also, me personally,
she just found another girl, just how all of them found girls from him. Yeah. She was one of them, too.
I personally believe, Sparkle did a horrible thing, but I also don't believe that this girl has anybody good around her. Not her mother, not her father. The fact that she was still able to be around him during the trial, but y'all don't go to trial to block his ass up, lets me know that no one gave a shit about this girl. No one cared about her at all. Yeah. So that was just very...
Yeah, because she had a father in the house.
She had a father and a mother. In the house. And none of them came to trial. But y'all still let your daughter be around this man. Yeah. So much so that she was in the garage. And that R. Kelly actually bought her a birthday cake. And they brought it downstairs for her. Yes. And he was like, whoa, that girl here? Yeah. Yeah. But that was the second episode. Sick.
It's just sick. It is just sick. And you continue to work with him, Sparkle. You continue to work with him.
I mean, obviously your career hasn't gone anywhere because I haven't even heard from you. Yeah, so was it worth it, though?
I don't even know who Sparkle is.
Yeah, but it's Mary.
And Alma.
And we want y'all to
share,
subscribe,
and comment
down below.
This. I mean, who do you blame? Do you see the whole thing about Sparkle? Do you believe that she had the right intentions? And how about Andrea's brother?
Just didn't care.
Introducing your sister to this pedophile.
Yeah.